Hello again, Lafayette third graders. All right, today we're going to be learning how to tell time to the nearest minute. We have worked so far on telling time to the hour, to the half hour, quarter hour, even to the nearest 5 minutes, but now we're going to be talking about to the exact minute. Now we've had practice on this in our math for today, so this is just going to be kind of like a little bit review and more of an in-depth lesson than you would be getting just from doing the math for today, because we'll be looking at more clocks than just one like you would have normally seen. All right, so we're going to first do a little bit of review on the ones that we have already learned about. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and give you this clock. I'll give you a few seconds to look at that. All right, the time shown on this clock is 3 o'clock. The hour hand is pointing at the 3, and then your minute hand is exactly at the 12, so it is 3 o'clock. And you can write that in digital time with the number 3, and then your colon, which are those 2 dots, and then 0, 0. Or you can actually write out the number 3, and then O apostrophe clock. All right, I'm going to have another one for you. All right, what about this time? Right? Your time is going to end with 30. And we know that because our minute hand is pointing exactly at the 6, and we know that that is 30. Now let's look at that hour again. Remember what Miss Brown said? She said to hook backwards. Okay? So if we hook back, it is at the 9. So this clock is showing 9:30. It's not yet past our 10, so it cannot be 10:30. It is 9:30. Now, you can write that digitally, that we just talked about with 3 o'clock. You can also write out the number 9 and the number 30. But remember from our last video, if it's at the 30, remember that is half past. So it could also be written and said as half past 9 because it is 9:30. It's half past. Okay, we have 2 more review clocks before we go ahead and look at to the nearest minute. All right. Give you a second to think about this time. All right, so there's multiple ways to say this time. Okay, so first of all, let's look at our hour. It is between the 12 and the 1, but it has not yet passed our 1. So our hour is going to be 12. Okay, and then our minute hand is at the 3. So if we count by 5s, 5, 10, 15, it is 12:15. Okay, so you can write 12:15 like a digital clock. You can write out the numbers 12, 15, but we also learned that we can say quarter past 12. Because remember that visual that we had with our quarters? This is 1/4 or a quarter of a clock, so it is quarter past 12. All right, we have one last clock that we're going to review. Okay, give you a couple seconds to look at that one. All right. So this clock is showing you 3:45. Remember, we got to hook up. It has not yet passed our 4. Okay, so our hour is 3. And then we know that the 9 represents 45 minutes. So you can write digitally 3:45. You can actually write out the numbers 3:45. And then we also learned from our quarters, remember, you have 1, 2, 3 quarters, but there's just 1 quarter left, and that's a lot easier to talk about than all those 3 other quarters. So we would just say quarter till, and remember if I added another little bit of quarter here, it would bring me to 4. So we say quarter till 4. All right. So again, today we're going to be talking about how to read a clock to the nearest minute, which you all have had practice on before. So I have a little clock right here, and we're going to talk about this clock and what time it is. So you're going to see that the hour hand is a little bit past the 1. It almost looks like it's exactly at the 1, but it's not quite there yet. So we know that the hour is going to be 1. But you also notice that the minute hand is not exactly at the 2. If it was exactly at the 2, this would be 1:10. But since it's a little bit past the 2, we have to look a little bit closer to see exactly what time it is. So if you can see, let me see if it'll focus on this. This clock is showing 1:11. So you can see the answer right there, 1:11. That's how it can be written digitally. All right, so it's just one tick mark past the 2. If you see that, it's just one tick mark. And so if we count by 5s, 5, 10, the 2 represents 10 minutes, plus 1 tick, 10 plus 1 is 11. So that's how this clock shows 1:11. It can also be written in these 2 ways. We can actually write out 1:11 or 11 past 1. 11 past 1 is another way we can say this time. Now, the reason I said 11 past 1 instead of 49 till 2 was because on our clock, that minute hand is on this side over here before you get to the half past. So remember when we said on this side, we said quarter till in the next hour? That's because it's already past a lot of half the clock. So again, we could say 11 past 1. We wouldn't say 49 till 2 because that's just too much. All right, we're gonna go ahead and look at this next clock here. All right, so if you look at this clock, the hour hand is between the 9 and the 10. But remember, it has not yet passed the 10. So it is going to be 9. And then let's look a little bit closer at that minute. So it's between the 3 and the 4. And I know 5 times 3 is 15. And I also know that 5 times 4 is 20. But it's not exactly either of those numbers. So it's going to be between 9:15 and 9:20. So I'm going to have to look a little bit closer because it's a little blurry for me. But it is 1, 2, 3 tick marks past the 3. All right, remember the 3 represents 15. So 15 plus 3 tick marks equals 18. So the time shown on this clock is 9:18. And again, that can be written in an analog form. It can, not analog form, sorry, that is analog form we just talked about, in digital form. Or we can actually write out 9:18, or we can say 18 past 9. Again, we wouldn't say 32 till 10 because it's not past half of our clock. All right, we're going to do one more together before I show you the other clocks, and you're going to record them on a scratch piece of paper that you have, and then I'll give you the answers so that you can check them when you're done. All right, I'm going to find a good one. This is a good one right here. All right, so I'm going to show you this clock. All right, so we see our hour hand is really close to that 4, but it's still kind of between the 3 and the 4. It's not yet past the 4. So then I kind of have to hook back, and that is going to be 3. Okay, now let's look at those minutes. All right, so it is 2 ticks past the 9. So I know that 9 times 5 is 45. And I said it was 2 tick marks past the 9, so 45 minutes, plus 2 tick marks is 47. So this clock here is showing me 3:47. Now, I could say 47 past 3, like I have in the other 2 clocks, but remember, it's past half of our clock. So let's think, what is 60 minus 42? How many more minutes do I need to go? I meant 47. How many minutes do I need to go before it'll be the next hour, 4 o'clock? Let's think. So 60 minus 47. That's going to be 13. So I could say 3:47. I could write out 3:47. Or I can say 13 till 4. That's another way to say it too. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and give you your next clocks, and I'm going to give you time to figure out what how to read the clock while I go ahead and write down the answers so that you can check them whenever we're done with this video. All right, so here is clock number 1. Okay, so this is clock number 1. And if you need to pause this video so you can continue looking at it, you certainly can. We're going to go ahead and move on to clock number 2. Here is clock number 2. Ooh, there you go. So again, this is clock number 2. And if you need more time to look at it, you can pause this video and continue looking at it. But we are going to move on to clock number 3. Okay. Here is clock number 3. Okay. This is clock number 3. All right, and we're going to look at our last clock, which is clock number 4. So here's clock number 4. All right, now let's go ahead and we're going to go over our answers to those 4 different clocks. All right, so again, I'm going to show you clock number 1. Sorry, I had to put a little 1 on the back of it to remember. And that time was 2:28. 2:28. So this is one way you can write 2:28. You could have also written the words out 2:28 or 28 past 2. Clock number 2 was showing you 10:03. Now you can have written 3 past 10 or 10:03. Clock number 3 is showing you 9:18. Okay, you could have also written the words out 9:18 or 18 past 9. And then the last clock, clock number 4, was showing the time 8:24. Now that one was kind of in between 24 and 23, so if you put 8:23, that's okay. All right, but again, you could have written out the words 8:24, 8:23, or even 24 past 8 or 23 past 8, depending on which way you looked at, if it was 23 or 24. All right, so that is how you tell time to the nearest minute. We're going to go talk about the paper that you're going to be using to review this video and practice. So I'm going to go ahead and get the paper real quick, and then we're going to talk about what you need to do to go ahead and complete it. All right, so we have our paper here, Reteaching 17-2. And just like the other video with the paper that you completed, there is an example at the top. But you can also come back to this video and watch it as you work on this paper. So there are 3 different clocks, and it wants you to write the time shown in 2 different ways. So you have 1, 2, and 3 to complete. Now you can print out this worksheet that is posted in Google Classroom and actually write it out and then upload a picture. Or you can go to the Google Docs, and we have made one where you can type in your answers for 1, 2, and 3. But remember, you are going to be showing 2 different ways to tell the time. And we have gone over those in this video. So again, if you need to come back and watch this video or the other videos that we have posted to complete it, you are more than welcome to. All right, well, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.